I'm Narda Miranda with EXP Realty, and we're going to talk today about loans with my go-to lender, Alan Ojeda. So the questions are going to come as we talk, and the first one is, what is the difference between pre-qualified and qualification letter?
So when you're getting pre-qualified just means is that you submit a credit application, we check your credit, check the information that's on the home loan application, but nothing has been verified. No documents have been verified, income hasn't been verified, assets hasn't been verified. So essentially it's telling you, hey, everything looks good on paper, but now we need to get documentation to support what's been submitted on the initial credit application.
So as you know, guys, we as a realtor need to be serious, especially on this market. The more prepared we are, the easy way for us to win a house for you. So it's very important to understand this process. And so now what you guys need to do to get the next step. So we already review, you already get that phone call, you already have all the information you needed. How long you will take to give me a letter confirmation and qualified letter for them?
So usually after the initial conversation and we see that a client's pre-qualified, it's really going to depend on the client. Usually if they can give me documents within 24 hours, we'll usually have a response with less than 24 hours. So at that point, we'll issue what's called a pre-approval letter, no longer a pre-qualification letter. A pre-approval letter is going to tell any listing agent that you're submitting an offer with our letter saying that, hey, not only have we checked credit, verified the client's information, but we also got the documentation to support it. So the minute that an offer is accepted, we've already verified all the items. We are going to hit the ground running as soon as the contract comes in, which at the next step will be getting the loan application disclosed, getting interest rates locked and whatnot.
And how long take between these two steps?
So initially it could really be as fast as 24 hours if we get everything done fairly quickly. Like I said, it's just going to depend on how fast the client can get us documentation. So usually the client moves fast and it allows us to move a little faster as well.
Perfect. The next step is, so what do I qualify? Many people is confused between, do I qualify for FHA, do I qualify for conventional, what's the difference, what do I need to do in each step? So that's why, once again, Alan is here to helping us, and let's start with the easy and the most common qualification, which is FHA.
So during the pre-qualification, pre-approval, we'll look at all the loan options. FHA tends to be a very popular loan for our first-time home buyers, also our buyers that are looking to buy a primary home. So you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for FHA. It just has to be, you have to buy a primary residence to be able to get an FHA. Some of the things that we're looking at when getting an FHA loan is credit. So minimum credit score with an FHA loan is a 580 credit score. We're also looking at what's called your debt to income ratio. So we look at the income that you're bringing in compared to the debts that you already have, plus the new debt of the home that you're looking to purchase to make sure you can get you qualified. And also we're looking at assets. So the minimum down payment for an FHA loan is 3.5% down. One of the big things with FHA though is that we have the ability to actually pay closing costs with FHA loans. So usually we can have a 640 credit score or higher. It can allow us to give 2%, around maybe anywhere between 1 and 2%. Now we're talking about a credit score being over 680. We might be able to get to the 3% back in closing cost credit. So just going to depend on the buyer.
And many people understand this, but not many people knows that even though you qualify for FHA for, let's say, $300, and people have some money saved, can they go for over $300,000 house? Like, let's say they have extra money in the bank sitting in there. Is FHA allow us to go higher and they will pay the difference?
Yes. So if we're in a situation where the buyer wants to bring the difference to get into a certain price range, if they can't qualify with the minimum down, yes, we'll look at different scenarios. So we'll not only look at scenarios of, hey, just bringing a higher down payment, but sometimes it could be an option to buy down the rate, also paying off the current debt they're bringing in. So they have credit cards, car payments that we say, hey, we can allocate these funds to pay off debts to give the buyer a little bit more buying power and negotiation power when they're submitting offers. Those are all options that we can look at. But yes, definitely bringing the difference between their approved price and the price of the home they're looking to buy is definitely a way to get them into a higher price.
So we're going to keep talking about FHA, right? So I have many clients that call me and say, well, I can qualify for FHA, but I want to buy a townhouse or a condominium, or I want to buy FHA as investment. Can we do that?
So FHA cannot be an investment. FHA is strictly for primary residence. Also, FHA loans, most, at least in Central Florida, I would say that 99.99% of condos are going to want conventional financing.
Okay.
But you can do a townhome. You can buy a townhome with FHA, and of course, you can do single family and manufactured housing with FHA. Condos is the only one that I haven't seen an approved FHA condo, I would say, by 6 years, so it's been a while.
Okay, so pay attention to that, because it doesn't mean that if you qualify for FHA, then you are an option to looking for a condo. That is many steps. And how long take to buy a condo with any kind of loans?
So condo, most of the time we're going to be conventional financing. Condos, you're usually looking about 30 days to get the loan closed from the minute the offer is accepted all the way up to closing. The only thing that does change a little bit with condos is that we have a double approval. So not only are you going through underwriting, getting the buyer approved for the loan, but also the condo association or the condo project also has to be approved as well. So usually that's something that we'll talk to the client. Really, the only big difference is that they're usually paying a condo questionnaire. So there's this form that essentially the association sends over to us to let us know, hey, this is the details of the association, and we'll make sure that it's approved through Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So that's how condos work a little bit differently when it comes to single family or town properties.
So we're going to stick on the FHA questions. The next question is, many people ask me, if they buy a house with FHA, what is the minimum time that they need to sell the house, in case that, let's say I have clients that are coming from outside, right, and they're going to be transferred from the job, they're buying with FHA, let's say in 3 months, 6 months, they've been transferred to another house or another state, sorry. So how we do in that cases?
So it's going to depend on the client. So a couple of things. If they're going to buy a new house here with FHA, and let's say they're selling their home, let's say in New York, they're selling a house in New York, the old primary home. One of the things that we'll look at is to see, can they qualify for the purchase of their home without having to sell? What we call a contingency. So do they need to sell to buy is one thing we'll look at. Because there'll be buyers that they can buy another home without having to necessarily sell the home to be able to qualify for their purchase here. As long as they're buying a home here as a primary, and we have the documentation to show that this is going to be their primary home, we can always get them qualified that way. Now, if we're in a situation where the client does need to sell their property to be able to buy a primary home here, that's really just going to be more about timing and talking. It's at that point we have what's called a contingency, because they need to sell to buy here. So it's going to be a matter of how fast they can sell their home up there. Of course, do we have the flexibility here? Because if they do need to sell to buy, and let's say that FHA loan can potentially close in 30 days, but their house over there still isn't sold, or they're being told, hey, it's going to be sold in 30, 60, 90 days, that's where we could run into some timing issues. So that's really just a case-by-case situation, and of course having the communication with you as a buyer's agent, the listing agent, making them full aware of the situation, and that's just more about us getting the timing right to close the loan.
Yeah, there is many questions around. So now they already get the house, they have FHA loan. Do they need any time? Like, what is the minimum time that they need to resell this house in case they've been transferred out again?
So they're getting transferred. Well, once the buyer closes on the home, and let's say in 30 days, 60 days, they got relocated from their job or something changes, that they can sell right away. There is no type of prepayment penalty on loans for being closed. So yeah, if it was a situation like that where they need to sell to go move to a new location, then as long as it's, they can sell right away, there's no penalty for paying off the loan early.
Perfect. Okay.